the world go round. I'm trying to get it all right now. Everybody worry about the crown being. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a PI kind of time we on. Jump roll like the kind of take.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like you just got to keep going for like 4 minutes.
You feel like you do. I feel like the new rule is we come in and we go, damn, that shit slaps. And you hit it one more time just because it's that fucking good.
It's so good. It's 100% the truth. Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Spill the Tequila. The stories have piled up to the point that I reached out to Winston and I said, it's time. And he's like, I agree. We both slid down the bat pole and we are now here at the Spill the Tequila studios to have some fun talking about big stories happening in the world of entertainment and politics and sports and everything. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the king of swag himself, Winston A. Marshall. How are you, Winston?
You know, I'm gonna start off with our tequila. I don't know if you actually brought one this time. You brought the tea. I bought the tequila.
Ew.
So
stings the nostrils.
Just hits in the back of the throat. But that is specifically for, I've had a string of bad luck kind of happening one after the other, if not hitting me, hitting family or friends. And yesterday before bed, my girlfriend had she had a doctor's appointment and an important meeting today.
Okay.
And I had found out a couple days ago that I was pinned. For those that don't know, being pinned for a project means that you're being pitched to like the executive producers. They're deciding between like you and like maybe one or two other people.
Yeah.
And I woke up this morning to like a second email from my agent being like, bitch, I emailed you last night. You booked it. Are you available or not? So I'm going to be doing a national commercial that starts filming next week and the week after. So I do apologize for anybody that has been rocking with me over on my channel and all that I'm so behind on content between the family emergencies and now this. I've just been balls to the wall with shit to do, but I am playing catch up. I'm excited for Spill the Tequila tonight with y'all. You'll get a blurred breakdown, if not tonight, first thing tomorrow. I'll be back on Capes and Cows this week as well. For those that noticed I wasn't there this past week, there's just so much shit happening, but I was happy to do that because I think I told you this, right, Rocha? I'm a brujo. I guess a bruja, technically. What's the male version of a witch?
It's a bruja.
What's a male witch? What's a brujo?
What's a male witch?
Yeah.
I don't
think
we
a
have
wizard or like a sorcerer. You don't have a word for a sorcerer or nothing?
It's a very patriarchal society. We don't really think of ourselves.
Okay, well, the voodoo, nigga. I got my West Indian voodoo, and I knew, like, psychically, I genuinely just said to my girl, I looked at her, I said, yeah, tomorrow's going to be a good day. And she's like, okay. So here we are.
According to the dictionary, it's bruja masculina, which really does not roll off the tongue. So I would say
not. But no, I understand a warlock. Is there a word for warlock in Spanish?
We're not nerds in Spanish. What is wrong with you?
First of all, a warlock is a dangerous motherfucker you don't fuck with. You better put some respect on Eldritch Blast, bitch.
No, it's bruja, it's brujo and bruja. So you were right there. Sorcerer is hechicera, which makes sense.
Oh, hell, that sounds dope. What does that mean?
Right? Hechicera, because hechicera is like you're doing stuff. You're a doer. So I guess that makes sense because the sorcerer is, casting the spells. So hechicera makes sense. You make it happen. Yeah,
that's fire. Yo, hechicera, motherfucker. Yo soy hechicera.
Boom, bitch.
Boom, bitch. I never forget. Anytime somebody says boom, I immediately think Rihanna from Battleship. Boom.
The best part of the movie she was watching it is
only part of the movie worth spending any time on.
Exactly. Galaxy Geeks have been here saying Wilson's camera looks awesome. Rocha looks good as always. Oh, thank you. But Winston, your camera looks good.
Thank you. This is the same one that I've had. I got to give a shout. I got to go back and look up the thing. But during the pandemic, I was doing a lot more streaming, and the camera I had was garbage. And a very wonderful benefactor was like, "Hey, man, go upgrade your shit." Wow. So I've been using, this is the same one I've been using for a while. If you see me in my place, it's the Sony Alpha 65 6400.
This is Sony Alpha 6400.
You'll say it. You said a con Sony Alpha 6400. Damn, look at me with my broken ass gringos.
I love it. Dracaris, bitch. Dracaris.
I wanted to say that when the brother showed up with the damn dragon, I wanted his ass to be Dracaris, nigga. And it's just goof.
Yeah, well, there went our ads. All right, so we got so much going on here today.
You're good. No, the ads aren't gone. You can do it like once or twice. It just you can't do it in the first 7 seconds.
Oh,
if
that's
out of the first 7, or if you put in the title, Winston says the N-word, that's not gonna fly. You know what I'm saying? But like, we're good. 550 in, we're good.
I'll put it in the time code. This is where I'm going on my 5th day without the Lady Outlaw. She has been in LA since last Friday.
Doing what?
She was going up there because she had a shower for one of her cousins who was getting married.
Okay.
So
Okay,
her cousin is getting married. He's the male getting married to a female. So she went to the shower for the bride to be, who is not related to her. Apparently, it was a massive shindig. She sent me all kinds of pictures from the place there in LA. But then she stayed because she had to go to UCLA for a couple of days to work out of the offices there. So she's staying at her sister's, so we don't have to pay hotel room, which is great. But, you know, it's the first time we've been away from each other for this amount of time in a very, very long time. So it's nice to wander around, but today's the first day where I woke up. I'm like,
you're feeling it.
I miss my lady.
No.
I miss my lady. Yeah.
That's so cute. That's look, man. That's the funny thing is this has now happened a couple times for me because
does she take off?
Well, like last year with the leg broken, Kristen had planned a trip with her homegirl, and they went somewhere. And then earlier this year, her company is London based. And so they want their employees, there's only like 5 of them here in the States and everybody else is in Europe. They want them to come in like once a quarter so they can have like kind of an all hands and people can know each other and all that. So she was gone and she like planned again, her same best friend. They planned a just to spend time out there. Her friend had some vacation time. So they went to Dublin and all that first. Then she went into London herself to go work.
That's awesome.
And it's one of those things where like I 1,000% miss her. It's crazy how much. But at the same time, it is nice to just like be for a while. And I'm sure she feels the same way when I'm gone for a bit. It's just for too long, you start to feel it. You know what I'm saying? If it's longer than like a day or two, you're like,
you're right. It's healthy to have space, right? Especially because like I imagine the same is true for you and Kristen. Like we're around each other 24/7. Like we are in proximity with each other all the time. So
does she work from home normally?
Yes, she works from home because
so then you guys are really the way we are. I if I'm on set, it's one thing, right? And like I do my first AD office PA work for the studio. So sometimes I go in, but most of the time I'm in the house. So it is, oh, you're here, I'm here, which we're happy to have each other here. But also sometimes it's like, man, okay, all right, cool. I kind of, I don't know, I kind of wanted the jacket, but it feels kind of weird to just be like, I'm just gonna close the door and masturbate right now. So hey.
All right. Then what's the rest of that? There we go.
Again, I spaced it out. That was like another 3 minutes. It was another 3 minutes. It's okay. I understand. Trust me. As much as dude, let me just say this right now.
Okay.
I'll hold off because it's another hard swear word now that I know the stuff that does it. But the IOC and the Olympics specifically for the way they crack down on people for just commentating on the Olympics. If you played anything even less than 7 seconds, as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about Raygun in a minute.
Yeah, we are.
I took the clip of Raygun dancing and something that was like catching steam on IG. And all of a sudden I get a message from IG saying your account has been blocked.
Yeah.
You can't do shit. I was blocked for the last like 3 days. I don't even know. I think it ends today. So I can use IG again tomorrow. I am so mad, bro. I am so mad. I'm mad at Raygun for being a horrible human. I'm mad at the IOC. I'm mad at the IOC yet again for with Jordan Childs. I'm mad. Like,
there's a lot to get into.
There's so much.
There's so much to get into. You know what I'm saying? We got to break it down We're definitely talking about Raygun. We're definitely going to talk about the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively stuff. That's what's going to lead the show. And then we're going to get into some of the Olympic stuff. So it'll be the Olympics block for sure. And then we're going to get into some other stuff on the other side and maybe preview game time coming up very soon. We can both smell it in the air. The NFL is on its way. We just had the first week of preseason games that happened, and everyone's getting excited. But already the Minnesota Vikings are in a shithole with J.J. McCarthy going in for surgery. And now Sam Darnold is going to be counted on to lead the Minnesota Vikings into the NFL season. Good luck with that, guys. But you know how it works here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Streamlabs and Super Chats are open. So please send in your love. Send in your questions, thoughts, and comments. Tim Sim, I see you already sent one in, so we'll definitely address that when we get to that section of the show. But we got to start here. This is where we got to start. There's a lot of drama going on here with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively here. A lot of drama going on with their interactions here with the film. It ends with us. This is a film based on a book by Colleen Hoover, and the book itself is dealing with domestic violence. But the film itself doesn't, or the pitch that Blake Lively's put out doesn't necessarily coincide with that. So there's been a lot of drama behind the scenes. Apparently, it came out today, according to TMZ. We got some more tea, shall we say, about the situation. Apparently, Blake Lively felt that Justin Baldoni was fat shaming her because Justin Baldoni has back issues, and asked an on-set medical professional if he could do the stunt they were setting up to do the stunt with him and Blake. Apparently, didn't tell Blake this. Blake found out about it, felt she was fat shamed because she just had her fourth child, whatever with that. Second thing she complained about is she apparently, and this is according to sources at TMZ, that he lingered on a kiss too long, and that made her uncomfortable. This is a very happily married man with 2 children, but apparently this is the accusations that she's saying. This is what a lot of TikTok detectives are saying prompted Ryan to get involved. Ryan apparently wrote one of the scenes in the movie, maybe more. It's kind of up in the air. And Justin Baldoni said on the red carpet that he gives a complimentary of Blake Lively, but said, I think she's going to take over directing the film. So behind the scenes, there were 2 cuts of the film that were tested. The Blake Lively cut tested poorly. The Justin Baldoni cut tested better, but the studio went with the Blake Lively cut. Everybody on the cast unfollowed the director, Justin Baldoni, and this cut is the one that's out there. But there's been massive backlash because of how this film was presented. Blake Lively having all these like flowers, having her hair care line at the premiere to promote that during a film about domestic violence. He has spoken about the domestic violence themes in the movie. She rarely mentions it. She focuses more on the rom-com stuff aspect of it all. Ryan Reynolds got involved in the promotion. So there's a lot of drama going on behind the scenes on this, Winston. God. And Justin just hired the PR crisis manager who helped Johnny Depp through the Amber Heard situation. So a lot of people taking sides on this, Winston, and it is kind of blowing up. And the film made $50 million, super overperforming on its first weekend. What are your thoughts on all this madness?
You made how much?
$50 million.
So it did
to make 25 to 30.
So it did double.
Yeah, almost double.
Is it because of all of the drama behind it?
I don't know if you can pinpoint to that, but you can certainly consider that as a possibility. But these books are very popular as well. So
yeah, but I also heard that the books themselves have a little bit of tinge on them. That people said that there were things that were not handled very well with the book itself.
Yes.
So here's the other thing that's interesting about it is that some people were definitely, because I was completely oblivious to all of this because I think Blake Lively is gorgeous. I love Ryan Reynolds. I don't follow her career. I didn't even know that she was in Gossip Girl. I knew she did something like that made her famous, obviously. I didn't realize that was her launch point. So I just didn't care. I just didn't care. I'm just being real. Like I had no idea that Ariana and Selena were both from Disney Channel until someone pointed, or Ariana, I guess, was Nickelodeon. And I always thought it was Disney Channel, but I figured that out from the Quiet on Set documentary. I was like, oh, I got it backwards. And then Selena, I remember Wizards of Weatherly Place, I guess.
Yes, but Wizards of Weatherly Place.
if it's not something that interests me, I'm not into it. So I knew nothing about this movie. I just knew that I knew nothing really about Blake Lively other than being a successful actress and married to Ryan. And then all of a sudden, she always just seemed very sweet. So I'm like leaving rehearsal and I'm opening up TikTok real quick while I'm waiting for my food. Yeah. And I see all these people be like, it's so cool to see Blake Lively go down and Ryan Reynolds go down. I was like, go down for what? And then when I was like, her rom-com, because I genuinely thought it was a rom-com. I didn't know what the fuck this was about.
Right.
And that's when people were like, hey, man, this is about domestic violence. This is about a woman surviving domestic violence. I was like, oh, this bitch way too bubbly for this. Yeah. That's not going, why are we doing, like, I saw the comparisons of how he was talking about the film and how she was talking about the film. And she was like, get your girlies, get your flower dresses. I did see something about her at the premiere wearing Britney Spears' flower dress. So again, I'm thinking this is a rom-com. This is the fun, like whatever. So as I see this, I'm like, ooh, this is a really bad look, especially because someone was saying that her hair products too, they're not advertised well. And they look like they actually make your hair look worse, is what my girlfriend was explaining to me. Yeah. So I was just confused. I'm like, how do you have Ryan, who is genuinely a marketing genius, and like his bae is like making a lot of the wrong moves here, one way or the other, as far as a lot of this goes. But then I woke up this morning and I saw how much worse things are and how she still marketed this completely wrong.
Yes, 100%.
You should not be this bubbly about a domestic violence film. Right. At the same time, I say, and my girlfriend had said, oh, part of the reason why people think the director is in the right is because he has a podcast where, like, a feminist podcast that talks about a lot of stuff. But now when I saw The Crisis Manager, when I saw multiple reports of people on set, anonymous quotes being like, yeah, people don't like working with him. He's actually a massive problem. And so her taking over the direction wasn't just her feeling uncomfortable. It was other people on the set. And then on top of that, hearing that even his co-host on his podcast is also starting to distance herself from him. Seeing all of this happen simultaneously, I'm like, oh, bro, this just seems like a dumpster fire all the way around and everybody's in the wrong. Yeah. And like some worse than others. But I think the thing that's the most upsetting, and I saw a woman explain it better on TikTok. Yeah. Again, this is a movie about domestic violence, a very serious topic that a lot of people around the world still struggle with. The fact that I know that the SA numbers are like 1 in 3 or 1 in 4, but I think DV is pretty close. It's like 1 in 4, 1 in 5 women will deal with some form of DV in their life. And then if you throw men that deal with it too, the numbers go even higher up from there. Yeah. So like to know that that is at the core of the subject matter and we can't set the tone properly for that, even if it is a survivor's story. Yeah. That reminds me in some ways about how like, I wouldn't fully compare Game of Thrones, but like how the whole idea with Daenerys' story initially is being sold essentially into slavery as oh my God, what was Momoa's character's name?
Oh yeah, Khal Drogo. Yeah,
Drogo, sold as Drogo's wife, kind of into sex slavery but then to kind of take her power back and to become the breaker of chains, all that kind of stuff. That is that story of watching this woman become fully empowered and to take on her fate and her destiny into her own hands, right? Yeah. Obviously, the rest of the story goes the rest of the way. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, there's other stuff,
But that when you're dealing with something like this, you need to treat it with a certain reverence and to know that nobody here was able to do that, that this was too light on the Blake Lively side and Justin seems to not be a good person. Like, this sucks. Yeah. This really sucks to see happen because this is the type of movie that could help people really process their emotions and maybe even get out themselves if they find themselves trapped in something.
Yeah, I think this was a colossal fuck up on Blake Lively's part. And look, Justin Baldoni has never had any issues with anybody. And he's, been on sets, he's directed stuff, he's acted in stuff, like you said, the podcast and whatever. So this is the first time we're hearing about it, right? This I think it's a very difficult situation when you're an up-and-coming person who does not have the PR crisis management juggernaut machine of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively coming after you. It is difficult. So him signing with a PR crisis manager makes all the sense in the world. Already people are like, oh, he's guilty, he's guilty. He went with the person who protected Johnny Depp against Amber Heard. These people are hired to do a job. It's irrelevant who they worked for before. They're hired to do a job. And if this guy, this person rather, navigated Johnny through that situation, by the way, he came out of that situation for the most part looking good. And eventually Disney is going to work with him again on Pirates. Mark my words. This is not a bad move for him. I'm hearing stuff from behind the scenes that there were issues between them because she wanted to make a certain type of movie. He wanted to make a different type of movie. He bought the rights to the story from Colleen Hoover. The studio backed Justin initially, but then something happened on set. As she says, she claims, or according to sources there, claims that something happened that made her uncomfortable with Justin, right? It is not beyond the realm of possibility to think that this happened. She felt a certain way about it and possibly used this to wrangle control of the movie away from Justin. And hearing that she is going to direct now the next 2 sequels for this property when she is buddied up with Ryan, with Colleen Hoover, who, by the way, made her TikTok private because all these people were coming after her and Blake for how they presented the movie. And I think you were right earlier. A lot of women have had issues with her books from the beginning because she's almost like, how can I say this? Not
romanticizing.
Yeah, she's almost romanticizing domestic violence and the situation of domestic violence. When you watch Blake Lively's interviews, all she talks about is how it's an empowering story and she's not a victim. And like, it's a horrible thing to be a victim of domestic violence. There's an inherently wrong message that she's sending. And then there's a bunch of gibberish about generalizations and feminism and all. It's all, there's nothing specific. Justin, when you ask him questions and you see him, he's specifically getting into the nitty-gritty about these domestic violence situations and relationships because he wanted his movie to reflect that. And so you're seeing this battle between the two. And clearly something went on behind the scenes. I don't think fat shaming which is, I think, is ridiculous because if you have a back issue, you want to check with an on-set medical professional because you don't want to hurt your leading actress, who you're directing and acting.
Yeah, well, you don't want to hurt yourself. Shit. Like I'm not even trying to be an asshole, but it's one of those things. It's like your back is one of those few things you cannot just magically fix.
Exactly.
So if that's really the case, that's just to make sure the stunt. Now he didn't. If we get audio tape footage of him being like, "Hey, I need you to tell them that I can't do the stunt because her fat ass is gonna break my back." If that's what was said,
of course, then everybody.
If that's what was said, then we need to have a different conversation.
Totally.
But if he's just like, "Hey, I just carrying her around just specifically, it's not her, it's anybody. It could literally be Steve over here. Right. I don't know if I can carry somebody right now just because of the condition that my back's in." If that's what it is, then that's a different conversation one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw somebody be like, "Hey, if you had someone was like, you should have watched the trailer, you would have known it wasn't a rom-com." I was like, again, when Blake Lively's in a movie, I'm not interested in unless it just pops up in front of my face and it's a trailer. Like if I had sat down to a movie, and that's the other thing people don't realize a lot. I almost only exclusively watch trailers if I'm covering them.
Yeah.
Both A, because I don't necessarily want things ruined, but B, we go to screeners. They don't play trailers at screeners.
Yeah,
they just play the movie you're there for and you leave.
Right.
So I genuinely didn't know other than Blake Lively has a new movie. And so it's in part, I guess, from the presentation of it being a very flowery whatever. And it doesn't help that Blake made it worse by that. But go see it with the girls because someone was like, it feels like she's trying to make Barbie happen. You know what I'm saying? All the pink, all the flowers, all that. It feels like a rom-com. So I just for that, like Justin is a good looking dude. Blake is one of the most gorgeous people on the planet. Like it feels like a rom-com. So I get it. I'm surprised there wasn't just a little bit in there to kind of tip the hat, even if it's in the font, if it's in the title, if it's in all, there's nothing to kind of allude to that unless you know what this IP is. And that I think is definitely a problem, because the other thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to walk into a movie that I think is one thing and get completely sideswiped unless that is the point. And I don't know. This seems like a serious enough topic that I would hope you don't need to necessarily throw a trigger warning, but I almost feel like you should. Like the number of people that get out of those situations that I'm sure they would like to know that that's what's going on before they walk into that.
Yeah. And look, it kind of blew up that a journalist shared an interview with Blake Lively. There've been quite a lot of conversations with her. And I think this is Jake. I'm not sure, but let's take a look at this response here. This is something that was part of the junket. She's here with this Blake actor who's in the movie, who also did the stuff with Ryan Reynolds.
We only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys, but for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really good.
The topics of the movie being domestic violence on a deeply personal level, just to put the context.
Going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you, and then we could I'm just curious about
social security number.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, are we talking logistics? Are we talking emotional?
Oh my God! Someone wake Blake up, for God's sakes!
Like to that point, it was to sit like that was already weird. If I'm being honest with you,
yeah. The question itself,
Well, no, even the question is interesting because I forgot that I had seen that clip. I saw that before I knew this was about domestic violence.
Yeah.
So to see that, I was like, damn, bro, why are you taking this so loosey goosey? Also, what if a fan wants to talk to you? Damn, I don't. Yeah. But to know that it's specifically that's what they'd be talking to her about, to be like, hey, Blake, I went through this, that, and the other, and I survived it. Like, seeing the movie really helped me process whatever. Like, bro, that's a bad look.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I'm gonna play one more for you, because I want to, you gotta have a good context of these situations. This was from 2016 for Cafe Society. This journalist said she wanted to quit journalism after this interview with Blake. Wow. And here's the play.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
Oh my God.
Who is that?
Two nice ones.
These,
oh God.
they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
What's her name? Parker
not
Posey.
bumps. The lovely lady bumps. Check it out.
Thank you. You like the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I love most of his movies, and this one was so like visually amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you?
Yeah.
And
working in
everyone
digital.
wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I love Jesse's suits.
So yeah.
I don't know who annoyed me more in that, Blake or Parker, because the other part of that, and I get where she was kind of going with that, but that seems like the opposite of the time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see Cafe Society. Was it a period piece?
It was yes, it was a period piece. Woody Allen directed it. And she got shit for being in a Woody Allen film at the time when everyone was.
So there's both that you were in a Woody Allen film, but then if it's a period piece, you know that people are going to ask you about the costumes.
Yeah.
That's not the same as I showed up to the Oscars. Rocha, you were fantastic. You were so good. What are you wearing? Like that's different. And especially two women, obviously they've said that before. There's more to ask about. So like at Barbie, instead of being like, hey, Greta, what dress are you wearing? Like, yo, this is like the women's empowerment film of a generation. And you seem to keep doing it. Little Women, now Barbie, like, where does that's a responsible question to ask somebody during that. Yeah. But during a specific theme, if you ask Greta, the costumes of, you hit all the Barbie square on. Tell me what it's like. That's actually an appropriate question because it's a key element of the movie.
Yeah. And look, the interviewer was just trying to be complimentary about the fact that she's pregnant, and she was announced you know, and so, but to toss it on the interview, like, what about your bump? Congratulations. Like, that was so weird.
I completely glossed over that, and I shouldn't have, but that's disgusting. Don't do that.
And I think Parker was trying to make the best of it, because I'm sure Parker's been in uncomfortable situations before, and she's just like, yeah, what about these bumps and lumps and whatever? And so, you know, and Jenny Slate had the same thing happen at the interview for this film. It Ends With Us. She was asked about working with Justin Baldoni, and then she gave some gibberish answer about how tough it is to do 2 jobs, never addressing him at all, and then saying, I wouldn't be able to do 2 jobs. I could only either act or direct or something like that.
I did see that. I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about being so jacked into the internet and pop culture, but then not understanding the context.
Yes.
I saw that clip and I was like, what the fuck is she going on about?
It just went on, and you were like, wait, what are you doing right now? But clearly, you know, this is causing people to choose sides, because of course this also leads into the idea of, well, do you believe all women? But then again, it's Hollywood, so people manipulate or use things to get their way all the time. So what's the truth here? The cast unfollowed him. Colleen Hoover unfollowed him, even though he owns the rights to the books now in terms of making them into films. So it's a really and how many people are going to go against Blake when Ryan Reynolds, who just made $1 billion in 1 week, could, like, quietly behind the scenes destroy you or say some shit? Or if his wife is one of these women who are vindictive women who goes behind the scenes because she's got a powerful man to talk shit about you. Jenny Slate, who's still, you know, she's not making millions and millions of dollars. She's doing small independent films. It's about self-preservation, I would think, you know?
Dude, I have my issues with Charlemagne the God for a number of reasons. I've been a fan. I've hated him. I've been all over the place, but I will give him this. He's very good at putting forth solid quotables. And in this one in particular, because, like, the reminder, for example, if you just need example that all humans can be shitty, people can take advantage of stuff. Look no further than that white lady that was like, oh, why are you all married to broke N-words? And then when people called her out for it, she was like, yeah, you fell for it, you stupid N-words. Like, thank you for giving my career and all this stuff. So people can be bad no matter their gender, no matter anything, right?
Right.
We're going to talk about J.K. Rowling being that way in a little bit.
Yeah.
His quote, though, specifically, is that we need to listen to all women and believe all facts.
Yeah.
So we need to take everything that Blake said extremely seriously. Holy shit. He was making you uncomfortable. Like, he was doing a little more than he should have been, et cetera, et cetera. We need to look into this. But if the truth comes out that, like, she's embellishing on things, she's making stuff up, she's actually doing a smear campaign to hurt Justin because she wanted something, then you need to turn around and be like, hey, yo, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's the main thing, is that people don't listen or take it seriously, but you have to, in the same way that it's not okay for me to always, that's racist, and then to go off about it, or for you to say that's racist to go off about it. And I could give a number of different reasons, but I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this show is, where a lot of stuff like that has happened, where people will throw around something loaded that we need to take seriously, but they're doing it for selfish reasons. They're not actually doing it because there's a real situation happening.
Right.
So that's why I really appreciate it. And it doesn't just apply to women, it applies to everybody. Listen, like, I'll change it. Listen to all people, but believe all facts.
Yes. But I think it's important to note, I think it's just, from what I'm seeing and from what I look at and seeing all the TikTok sleuths, there's a lot of people who've been apparently emailing these TikTok sleuths with tea about Blake on the set and how terrible she is and entitled she is and mean. There's a whole Reddit on this that popped up a couple of years ago that had her listed as one of the top worst people to be on set with because she's very diva-like in her ways. On the other side, though, like, what she's presenting, if you look at it in a vacuum, this is a woman who might be sensitive about her weight because she's had her 4th child. This is a woman who might feel weird about an actor, like, you know, maybe lingering a little bit. So I'm not saying her concerns aren't valid. I'm saying it seems like from the outside, there's something more that would cause everybody to unfollow this guy in the cast, to cause him to, at the premiere, he had to watch the film with his wife in a different theater then
that's
Blake
what I'm
and Ryan,
saying, dude. I gotta believe
there
that he
has to
did
be something
something
bigger.
I gotta believe that he did something, especially knowing that his female co-host of his podcast. That's the big indicator. Everybody kept saying he has this podcast. It's so forward thinking. It's very feminist. All that. To know that his co-host is distancing herself, that says something to me.
Is that
more so than anything else?
But is that self-preservation, or is that her like all of a sudden realizing all of these things that he's done in the past and maybe putting them together? So listen, I see a couple of people. I see a couple of you ladies coming after us because we're two guys talking about this. Fair criticism. Totally respect that. We can only come from our point of view. I'm not trying to devalue Blake. I'm saying Blake has a history of doing certain things. Justin doesn't. So when I'm weighing the two, I'm more inclined to believe Justin and see from what I'm seeing than Blake necessarily. But if more stuff comes out that certainly points to guiltiness to Justin Baldoni, I will absolutely turn that around and say, yeah, Justin's guilty. He shouldn't have done what he did. Get him out of there.
It's
been notoriously quiet, which I think is an interesting situation here right now.
Right. And I definitely understand as well, especially when we start talking about any of the pregnancy stuff.
Of course.
I can understand as two men
we have no idea
in a particular way. But I specifically, I think why when you pitched talking about this in the first place, other than being a big story in Hollywood, I've unfortunately been on the receiving end of a lot of emotional abuse from an ex. I have a situation where multiple friends of mine, I've had to show up and go fight off partners that were doing shit and get them away. I used to work for Planned Parenthood, and we did do all sorts of resources and whatnot for women that were dealing with anybody that was dealing with DV situations, let alone one of my best friends from college. He also it's no longer a lawyer, he's now a screenwriter, but he worked for years pro bono for a service that just provided legal services, counseling, all that stuff for women as well in those situations. I very specifically, any sort of abuse is something that I take very, very seriously because unfortunately I've seen so much of it happen. So that to me is why I initially was all on Blake being like, bro, this is not the movie to be doing that. If that's what this is about, you can't be doing that. But at the same time, to hear the things that are coming out about Justin, that's why I'm also like, what did you do? And that's why I stayed out of the depth Heard situation, because the whole thing felt like a dumpster fire where both people were bad people.
Yeah.
And my spider sense that's tingling on this one is that both parties are guilty for something. I just don't know what. And the thing that I hate about it is that at the core of it is apparently a movie that was supposed to be there for women to be able to process what they potentially have been going through, or that someone close to them has been going through. That really upsets me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And if we're throwing our resumes on the table, my last year in Tallahassee, I worked for a domestic violence shelter as the AP accountant. So for a whole year, and I experienced women coming into our shelter running from men. I experienced barring doors from guys who were banging on windows. So from my point of view as well, I think domestic violence is a very serious thing. I don't think we're anywhere near as, how can I say this, as aware of how terrible it is. We don't put people away with anywhere near the amount of sentences that we need to for committing these kinds of acts towards women. And Justin has spoken all the time about the need to stop this from happening. His podcast focuses on that. Again, that being said, none of us who are talking about it, none of the people who are watching were on set to witness what happened. I think at the end of the day, it was two people with two different intentions, and it got toxic because one person didn't like the intention of where the film was going, and the other person got mad at that, and it became a Cold War type of situation between both of them. And I don't know how they thought they were going to escape scrutiny for this, but maybe they thought, well, screw it. This is a way for the film to make money, because Justin will get paid off this movie making a lot of money because he owns the rights, had the deal. So he will be getting paid regardless. So it's not just Blake, it'll be Justin. Yeah.
The last thing I will say, though, and this was something that was brought up, and I think was what made this wrong in the first place. The thing that makes me feel like Justin was potentially too in his own feelings, which is why I'm a little more likely to listen to the other things we're saying against him.
Yeah.
I don't think with the I'm not saying that someone couldn't direct this.
Yeah.
But I don't think that a man should have been at the forefront of directing this movie. If he owned the rights to it and then went and I would have hoped he would have either A, found a female director to do it, or B, made it so paramount that he goes, because he also cast himself as the abuser, by the way. That's another thing too.
Yeah, a number of people turned down the role, and so because they were running out of time, he stepped in. He
stepped in, which is fair. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that storyline. I just heard that he just cast himself, and I was like, that's interesting. Yeah. But if he wasn't going to direct, if he wasn't going to get a female director to take, the reins on this, to not have somebody as like his right hand woman to be there to like, yes, I directed it.
Yeah.
But this is Dr. Gina. And she is like XYZ expert. I was every single thing. I was talking to her. I was talking to Colleen. I was talking to Blake. I really was just the avenue of being a director, but like I wanted to make sure that, one of the things that I appreciated about 13 Reasons Why, they talk about in some of the essay scenes that they didn't put it from the male gaze and specifically of like, they put it specifically on the young lady that's at the center of the story, and like the trauma she's going through, and the thing like to emphasize it's about what is happening to her. It is not about this man did it. It's this piece of shit did it, and this is how it's affecting her. It focused specifically on what this young lady is going through. So to not put this in center to what a woman might be going through in this situation and let women lead this seems like a mistake to me.
Yeah. I think you have a very valid point there. Like, read the room, understand what's going on in our society. And look, Justin may have wanted to direct this because, again, as you said, he was in his feelings about it. And he thought this would be a great extension of my podcast to explore why women get into these domestic violence situations. Because in his interview with Good Morning, I think it was Good Morning America, or Today, he said, too many people ask women these questions. Well, why did you stay? Why did you stick around?
Right.
And I want to destroy that stigma because that's victim blaming.
Right.
And I wanted to present a movie where people will see that this is not so easy to extricate yourself from. There's much more involved than people think. But it seems clear that Blake wanted to make a different movie that was empowering and celebrated her character and celebrated her by extension. And Justin wanted to make a much more serious film. And I think that's where they were loggerheads in the end.
Which last thing, because I see somebody trying to come at me for saying, how dare I say that men don't go through it. I literally just gave my story and some of the things that I've seen that I very much know that. I know that men go through that too. But this particular story was about a woman being abused. Now, if you're going from a story about a man being abused, then I would hope that a man would step up and tell that story. That's actually why Baby Reindeer is so well done, is because the comedian who the story is about that was at the forefront of all of that, and like his story, he took the full reins to talk about his abuse at the hands of, like, it was SA abuse and not DV, but like the drug abuse and the SA abuse that he was dealing with. He took, like, I very much know that men go through stuff too, but you're telling a story about a woman being abused. So I just think that it would make more sense to have a woman be at the forefront of telling that story. That's what I said.
Yeah. And I think that's a fair point. All right. Well, we're going to get you Streamlabs and Super Chats later on in the show. Keep sending them in, ladies and gentlemen. 3 Super Chats, only 1 Streamlab. Come on, y'all. Send them in. Send in your love here to our channel and or to the show, rather. And let's get it on, for God's sake. Let's hear what you guys have to say. Very controversial topic to lead off the show. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear what your 2 cents are. Where do you side in this? What's your feeling? What's your gut tell you about what's going on? Send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats and let us know what you think it happened here in this situation, because it's so sad. Because I mean, here's Ryan experiencing the highest of highs, but having to navigate this situation as well with his wife and the mother of his 4 children. So it's a tough situation. I think they're all his kids. I didn't know if she was married before or not. I know Ryan was. So, all right, let's take a quick break and then we'll get into some more stuff here on the other side. Some more drama going on in the world right after this. All right, Winston, we got to get into it. It's happening. God,
Jesus, man.
Nailed it. So let's talk about it. The Raygun controversy here. Australian breakdancing phenom Rachel Gunn, aka Raygun, has been in the news in the Olympics since the Olympics because of her routine that she did at the Olympics, and has received an incredible amount of backlash, but has also received support, not only from people who liked what she did, but also from some members of the breakdance community in Australia for this situation. There have been a lot of accusations thrown about how her and her husband rigged this thing for her to go, how the federation was built by her so that kind of they were forced, how she stopped other people from competing. So there's a lot of news around this situation, and it has overshadowed the two actual winners of the gold medal for breakdancing. And now we won't be having breakdancing in 2020 in LA, which I think was announced before the games. But this makes it even more of a certain situation here. So I know you wanted to talk about this with my friend. You said you were angry about it. So take it away. Take it away.
So this bitch. Okay.
Here's the thing. God. Oh my.
Here's the thing.
All right.
Raygun, what we're hearing a lot of the stuff, and I wanted to go, like, as a matter of fact, let me pull up the article that I sent you because it did a good job of kind of breaking a lot of this down.
Yeah. Take it over.
So Raygun, there's a petition that's out right now that she should issue a public apology for misleading the Australian public and attempting to gaslight the public and undermining the efforts of genuine athletes. And as of Tuesday, the petition has nearly 13,000 signatures, with the goal being 15,000.
Yeah.
Now she's defended her performance. She's a 36-year-old PhD student, or not student. She has a PhD. She's a doctor. She's Dr. Raygun.
Do you know what she got a doctorate in?
Yes, she got it in, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was breakdancing.
It is
breakdancing. And hold on, let me find it. Let me find specifically.
She's a doctor of breakdancing, everybody.
It's just what, oh God.
That's what I'm telling.
But okay, hold on. This is not the one that I wanted. Give me a second. Okay. Riff for a second, because I've got something for you.
For those who missed it, she competed in the Paris Olympics here. There is a petition on change.org. Rachel Gunn who set up her own governing body for breakdancing, has manipulated the selection process to her own advantage, is what the petition reads. Despite the clear talent and qualification of other outstanding female breakdancers like G. Clef and Holy Molly, they were unfairly overlooked. The NT Yulong Boys, a group of incredibly talented and underprivileged youth from the Northern Territory, were denied crucial funding by Dr. Gunn to attend the qualifiers, a decision that directly impacted their chance to showcase their skills on a national stage.
There you go. And so some of the things about her, she is trained professionally as a dancer.
Yes, ballroom.
She's trained in tap, jazz, and ballroom.
Yes,
she didn't get her started to break dancing until she met her husband Samuel Free, who showed her the ropes. She does have her PhD in breakdancing and dance culture, and with her doctorate under her belt, had a career as a college lecturer on the subject. And some called Raygun a textbook expert, but clearly her years in school didn't equate to her actually being good at it. Married Sammy the Free in 2018. And he had his own dreams of doing the Olympics, but decided to help push her one way or the other. She did apparently, so this was the thing, she was losing left and right. She was like 40 or somewhere between 40 and 70 continuously prior to all this. It didn't qualify for Paris until the Oceania Championships in Sydney, where she somehow managed to wipe out all the competition and took home the #1 ranking and finally qualified for the Olympic Games according to CNN. And that is where this whole thing comes in about her realizing there was no board in Australia, kind of like a governing body. So she kind of made it herself, made her husband like the main judge / president, and essentially iced out other dancers that were better than her to be able to like kind of make this. And to that point with her having like, it just all of this left and right, man, it just feels very gross. And when you throw in the fact that like what I saw a lot of Black people saying, and this is where it kind of kicks back in. When you see Japan and Korea and all of those countries and how they have taken to breakdancing and how incredible they've gotten at it and the homage, the one thing that people were a little turned off by is like, it feels a little costumey to be putting on a do-rag. Like people will be wearing those, but they're wearing it specifically for their hair, not just because it's part of the look. So that part was a little weird, but there's mad respect for all of those dancers who really have become the best in the world at it. And they have full respect for the art form. Everything about her reads like a colonizer coming in and being like, I'm gonna write my dissertation. And then, and then it's gonna be a huge, then I'm gonna get on the Olympics and everybody gonna be like, oh, and like it reads the same way that like a Marjorie Taylor Greene loves to say little things because she doesn't care actually about being a congresswoman. She wants to be a viral sensation. That's what this felt like. It felt like this was Dr. Raygun's opportunity to be viral and be at the Olympics. And like, to know that technically it wasn't her that did this because it was decided breakdancing wouldn't be in the next Olympics before the competition started.
Before the competition, yes.
But to know that this probably didn't help, if there was any sort of idea for like, hey, do we want to rethink this? It actually was kind of cool. Not when this was what was going on, man. Like it reeks of performative bullshit to me. And I hate that because the number of people that have been like, see, because breakdancing isn't a sport. Like, again, you can go fuck yourself. If synchronized swimming is a sport, then breakdancing is a fucking sport. Like, yes, you do cool stuff in the water. You do cool stuff in the water, but it's a goddamn dance, like in the water. Okay. I like stop that nonsense. But it just reeks of disrespect. And I fucking hate that, man.
Yeah, that's a fair point, man. This is let's bring up her husband. Yep,
that's definitely Sammy the Free. That is definitely that man's name.
Oh,
that is Sammy the Free.
Are you sure he gave up his dreams to get to the Olympics? Are you sure? Look, there is a very extensive defense of Rachel that was published in Vox today by Aja Romano. And Aja Romano is a really good writer. I've read her stuff over the years. But it's a pretty extensive and interesting defense of Rachel, which pushes back on some of the accusations, claiming that the judges, there was only one white judge, there were 10 judges, 9 of them were Australians of color, that they did not form this organization, they did not try to railroad this situation, her husband and her, but claims that that a lot of people didn't show up to these competitions because they didn't like that the Olympics wanted to make breakdancing a sport because they thought it was a way of mainstreaming it, and that's against the culture of breakdancing. And other people claiming that they didn't show up because they just didn't have the money to pay for themselves to fly to Paris to compete because the Australian Olympic Federation does not have funding for breakdancing. But on the other side, this is a woman who comes from a very high-end white family. She basically was able to pay for her education, no problem, and could have chosen any other things to be a PhD in, but chose to do breakdancing. She's a former ballroom dancer. I think that's super important. She is not someone who learned to breakdance on the streets, out on the corner all the time, really in being inventive. This is a professional dancer who treated breakdancing like she would treat tap or ballet or ballroom. And I think, and even though she's a doctor and studied it and whatever, I think you lost a lot of the cultural significance that you need to have. And she defended herself to ESPN afterwards and said, I was never going to beat these young girls at the moves they were doing because I'm 36 years old. So I thought I'd go with creativity as my approach. That being said, her creativity is what people are making fun of because these moves do not look creative. They look ridiculous. Overall, that's my opinion.
I'm not logged into the blurred StreamYard, obviously, but what it reminds me of is this idea that when hip hop first came in, everybody wanted to be like, my name is ROCHA and I'm here to say, like, there was one very specifically of this white old pastor who's like, dreams are big and they keep getting bigger. That's because Jesus Christ is my nigga. That's it just
how many is that?
Reeks of that. And so look, I'm off it. The Olympics are over. Like, I needed to probably get this off my chest, and it is what it is. If more comes out and we find out a lot of this stuff, as the internet is prone to do, is kind of made up and there's more to the story, then we can talk about it again. The way it still presents itself.
Rapping in German.
Und will sich den Frommenschein dar.
I think I cannot.
Okay, that kind of slaps though. Just with the Homnenschneider, that I don't know. Hey,
oberflächlich schaut so mancher nur von oben runter. Aber es sind hier in der Kirche alle doch recht hinter. Viele sind voll engagiert, nicht bloß hier zum Chillen. Statt Bling Bling lebt mancher seinen Glauben mehr im Stillen. Doch heute wird es laut und dieser Beat verkündet allen. Verändert Leben und das soll ganz laut erschallen.
Hey, he probably said, hey, Winston, your ass going to hell. And I was like, yeah, because I don't even
That's so awesome. That was incredible.
Oh, dude, that was amazing.
Father Gustav.
Thank you for that.
Respect.
Father Gustav. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, you gotta love it. A-Alf. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so there we go. So we'll see what happens with this situation. And yeah, we'll find out. But I mean, she blew up, and I'm sure her following has increased because a lot of people are defending her on social media. I really when I see people be like, she's a victim, I go fuck yourself. She put herself in this position. She's not a victim in any way, shape, or form.
Victim of what?
Yeah,
victim
she knew
of
what she was doing. She knew.
Look. Are we aware of the fact that everybody that did terribly at the Olympics or did something shitty at the Olympics has gotten these jokes or have gotten made fun of? So like, let's see. There's a couple of that come to mind. There's a dude that went to go pole vault. And then he got all the way up and said, nope, and fell back down. And people were like, how did he qualify? Now, someone has said that that's actually the safe way to get out is to kind of come back down, but it looked really bad. You also had the other dude that was a little too blessed.
Hell.
And so don't play it. They're going to take the video down. They did it to me. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm trying to help you. Don't do it.
All right, fine.
You also had that pole vault guy who was a little too blessed. That has to be the greatest curse of your blessings that you have ever seen in your life. That it took away your other dream because you had the dream that so many other men wish that they had.
White dudes especially. Yeah,
you had Noah Lyles' ass want to talk all this shit about world champion or what, and then watching Steph Curry dagger in your eye, able to fucking compete because it got them sick. Like, there are so many people in the Olympics that got these words and got these jokes. So I do not feel bad about Dr. Raygun getting these jokes.
Doctor. Yeah, I agree. 100%. But let's talk about positive stuff with the Olympics here. Shout out to the U.S. women's basketball team who squeaked out that victory over France. You saw everybody lining up for those Caitlin Clark Angel Reese.
They were ready. They were ready.
Pre-written those tweets all the way up to the last few minutes.
Bro, I saw somebody go like put the little duck that like smokes the marijuana and kind of giggles, be like, y'all got to keep all them CC tweets in the drafts, don't you? I was like, yo, thank you, Jesus. I was not ready for that. I would have not been okay if they had lost.
That was going to be massive, man. But the men's team took care of business and won theirs, which I thought was a really great game, especially especially after the. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had the men's up here. I don't know where it went. Where did it go, husband of Raygun? Where did it go? No, I have the one up here. I guess they didn't put it up. Anyway, the men took care of business. Steph Curry bailed them out with some fantastic. They were going to lose that game, bro. They were going to lose that Serbia game. And then Steph Curry showed up and saved them. And then they went into France and handled business, man.
He still did on the front because remember, he had 16 of their 18 points in the first quarter. And that's as Bogdan's out here draining these threes over and over. You know the turning point of that game, right?
Was it Kevin Durant's block or what was it?
It was Bogdan deciding to go up to Melo, who used to do this when he had threes. And he said, for 3, motherfucker, and did this. And you saw both Kyron and which is Melo's kid, and Melo being like, what the fuck? And you saw LeBron being like, are you out of your fucking mind?
I know.
What do you think this is? So then all of a sudden, LeBron, who really wasn't playing well, then got mad and started hitting all sorts of jumpers where, like, if this is the ground, he's like this close to landing when the ball comes out, but it's going in. And then at one point, walked over to the dude, like, while he was leaving, and he was sitting here being like, this you right down here, though, man. This you right here. And I was like, yo.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a combo of Bogdan pissed off LeBron, who then went and told everybody else, let's go. Yeah. But the fact that Steph, who was quiet most of the tournament in these final 2 games, became the same Steph Curry that became a 2 back-to-back, one of them being first-time unanimous MVPs. And has 4 rings and will go down as the greatest shooter of all time. He shot a double-teamed 3 to sink the game over Wembanyama's big ass.
Yeah, it was incredible.
He's my GOAT. I love some Dirk. I know that Jordan is Jordan and LeBron is LeBron. Steph Curry is my GOAT, bro. I've never seen someone put on a show like that and be so clutch like that personally. I just like, that's just me.
It's an interesting debate. I saw it pop up after the game on Twitter. Like, people were arguing, is Steph in the top 10? And a lot of people were like, no, you can't put him above blah, 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 all these legends of the game. But other people like, you know, this is a situation where you might have to reconsider that. But of course, the counter to that is, well, this is a game. He's shooting threes. He's not driving inside like a lot of the greats had to do.
And
so, I mean, that's the thing. You hear the arguments on both sides. I think there's validity on both sides, which is what makes it a fun argument to have, you know?
It's one of those situations where, like, I hear that there's other things you had to do and all that kind of stuff. He won chips. He won MVPs. He has his gold medal. He got finals MVP, multi-time all-star, led a franchise by himself. He literally changed the face of basketball.
Yeah.
You understand that basketball is now played differently because everybody started deciding that they wanted to not just have handles like AI.
Yes.
So to have Kyrie AI handles, but to have a Steph shot. Big men are shooting threes because of Steph.
Yeah.
So miss me with that. He didn't have to drive in shit because now all of a sudden Joker's all of a sudden, like even Embiid occasionally and Giannis occasionally can jack up some distant shots because that is what the game now. He changed it, and there's no way that you don't like essentially set basketball on a different course and not be in the conversation of if at least not top 10. I would say he's on Rushmore at that point because Jordan, LeBron, Curry, and then I would have to think. For me, I want to say Kobe, but that's just a personal favorite. But you can make arguments for other folks because Kobe was too much like in certain. Kobe was his own man, but in a lot of ways was a Michael Jordan clone. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of ways that like there's no way that you don't because of how the game changed.
Right. So that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point. Again, a good argument is one that you can see both sides of the argument and have fun debating it. And I think the what's his face in the top 10 is a great one to kind of explore that. But shout out to the U.S. women's national soccer team as well, winning gold, which I thought was a great. And I watched every one of these games. The last few games were a grind, but they got the job done. Shout out to Emma Hayes, who was very emotional, leading them to a gold medal there as the manager. 3 months on the job, already her first trophy. Incredible. But we got to talk about Imane Khelif. This is happening. Let's have this conversation here. She is suing a number of people for their horrible tweets, questioning her gender, calling her out, calling her names, including J.K. Rowling, Elon Musk, Donald Trump is mentioned, and others like Logan Paul, who I believe lost the title at SummerSlam because he had put those tweets out and got himself in trouble. And a number of other people who might get yanked into this situation here. Winston, this is an insane. I didn't know you could sue someone for this, and that's what she's suing them for acts of aggravated cyber harassment. A Paris-based attorney, Nabil Boudi, is in charge of this lawsuit and confirmed to Variety that both figures, that's Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling, were mentioned in the body of the complaint. It is filed with the Paris prosecutor's office. who confirmed that they received the complaint. And then a lawsuit was filed against X, aka Twitter, which under French law means that it was filed against unknown persons, which means they can call in anybody to question them and make a deposition. So this is going to be interesting, but I applaud her like crazy to be like, fuck you, I'm coming for you, and I'm going to take some of your money. My greatest wish would be that she bankrupts JK, so JK has to sell Harry Potter, and we never have to have her associated with that franchise ever again. That being said, I'm sure it's not going to happen, but what do you think about this, man?
After everything that all these people put that woman through the blender, like, bro, take them for everything. I hope she takes Twitter. I hope she takes Harry Potter. I hope she takes the Republican nomination. I hope they bring her out for the next, like, whenever Logan Paul has to go and try and get his Intercontinental title back, she comes in at the last minute, hits him with a stunner, and then takes the title. I hope she takes everything that they have, because when you also throw in the fact, like, I hope she sues the Italian boxer that started this whole crap by crying, and then when the media come crying back, be like, I didn't mean to do all this. I'm just Italian. Like, I say that only in the fact that, like, someone brought up a very good point of how racist Italians have been to Africans, and specifically how Italy tried to colonize Algeria and it did not go well. No. And so there's an extra level. Like, I remember hearing the stories more recently of, like, Super Mario playing for Italy and then throwing bananas at him and calling him a monkey. Like, there was so much tinged racism, sexism, transphobia, all of that. And all this woman was doing was the one thing she had been trained to do her entire life and had been pushing her entire life, and to drag her like this, bro, I hope she takes all their shit. Yeah. Take it all.
Riley Gaines as well. Take them all. I've never seen someone make a career out of finishing 5th consistently in their chosen sport, for God's sakes, and crying that it's men who are trying to be women who are messing it up for so many women. It's nonsense. And Kirk Herbstreit came out today and wanted to chime in on this. And look, entitled rich white male athletes should shut the fuck up about this kind of stuff.
What did he say?
It is ridiculous, man. He came out and said, I don't have any more fucks to give. I want to say it's wrong that men are becoming women to compete in female sports. It's like, shut the fuck up, man, you moron. So yeah, we have miles to go before we hit some sort of groupthink that requires intelligence to understand this situation. And the number of trans athletes that are actually competing is like less than 1% in all sports. So this is a fabricated bullshit argument because certain side of the political spectrum wants to fight a culture war and needs their scapegoat. And they found it in the trans community, as if the trans community isn't beat up enough, you know. Sorry, go ahead.
I think the thing that's wild to me is that, like, no, you're fine. Okay. We have talked about how Putin and a lot of things out of Russia are just, like, clearly messed up and skewed and are meant to sow dissension and all that. And when you go and look at where she supposedly tested negative to be able to compete, was from a corrupted Russian boxing governance that the IOC does not even recognize anymore. And when they asked to produce this stuff, oh no, we got to save it for their privacy, but also she's a man. What? Like, you literally did that because they lost to Imane. They lost to her. Yeah. And so that's why they did it, to try and discredit her. Yes. So when you look at all of that and people are so quick to pop off at the effing mouth, let alone, let's think about this logically. Algeria is known for being extremely anti-trans.
Yes.
So in what world was she born a man? Got transitioned, and Algeria was like, you know what, we're good with you taking the Olympic stage. In what world? Yeah. So it's absolutely disgusting that people genuinely jumped on this so quick and attacked this poor woman for literally just living her life and trying to bring, victory and glory to herself and her country and her family and all. Like, F everybody that was a part of this bullshit.
I agree. 100%. I agree. All right, let's take a quick break. We got a couple things to hit before we hit the Streamlabs super chats. We've got to get out of here in the next few minutes, so we will get to them. We'll be right back right after this. All right, Winston, let's hit the sports section of this show here. Los Angeles Sparks forward Dearica Hamby has officially filed a lawsuit against the WNBA and her former team.
Everybody's suing. Damn.
She went after Becky Hammon. She claims that in January of 2023, Becky Hammon allegedly told Hamby on a phone call, Dearica Hamby, on a phone call that she didn't take, quote, proper precautions to not get pregnant and question her commitment and dedication to the team. She also allegedly accused Hamby of signing a 2-year contract extension while knowing she was pregnant so she could make money while she sat at home. And the Aces eventually traded Hamby to the Sparks on January 21st of 2023. She gave birth to her second child, Legend, on March 6th of that year. Dearica Hamby just won the bronze medal with Haley Van Lith, Ryan Howard, and Sarah Burdick over at the Olympics. And now she's filed this lawsuit like 2 or 3 days before the WNBA season is supposed to resume. This is a hell of a powerful move from Dearica. And these accusations, dude, are pretty brutal. A woman to woman saying like you got pregnant on purpose or you didn't take proper precautions. You did this. And so this is dirty. This is messy. But by the same token, I can kind of see why Becky was pissed, but you still don't ask a player this. You're violating all kinds of HR laws by doing this. What are your thoughts on this situation, man?
I mean, my thoughts on this are that quote that you hear people say of like, there's a special place in hell for women that don't support women. I understand. Yeah. I understand that like you're trying to put the best team forward to go win a chip, all that kind of stuff. Right.
Right.
At the same time, why would you to attack somebody like that and then to force her off the team?
A traitor.
Like, like I mean, I am grateful as a Sparks fan because we needed this, and this allowed Dearica to not only really shine as a star now, but what I'm really excited about is the prospect, because unfortunately Cameron Brink went down this year, of a starting five of Dearica Hamby, Cameron Brink, Rakia Jackson, oh my God, Paige Beckers, because at this point we're probably gonna bottom out, and then we have all the other players that are actually doing really well off the bench. We just don't have as much firepower as to solidify it, especially without Cam. To finish the job. It's a crazy squad. The types of squads that can go deep in the playoffs. So that kind of stuff makes me happy. But I honestly, I both can and can't believe, because you hear some of the worst offenders against women, or the worst offenders are other women. The worst offenders against Latinos, other Latinos. The worst offenders against other blacks, other blacks. So this whole situation of, I'm not entirely surprised to hear this. It makes it just that much more disgusting to know that it'd be one thing if the GM had been a dude and he was doing this. Right. Then it'd be like, get his ass. Yeah. What the fuck are you thinking, bro? Why would you do this?
Yeah. I saw this meme that cracked me up, which I thought was hilarious. The myth of consensual sex. I consent. I don't.
Bro, holy crap. She is the whole GOP trying to, you see that commercial, right? Where they're like, I'm trying to buy these condoms. Ooh, are you married? No. You don't qualify. What the fuck? It's like, sorry. That's not. And then all of a sudden, the old man, I'm just going to watch. Like, it's crazy to me, man, that's what we're doing here. But.
And to be fair, I mean, the Las Vegas Aces are pushing back on this. Becky Hammon is pushing back on this, claim she never said any of the stuff that Dearica is accusing her of. So we're going to hear, this is from Dearica's point of view, this lawsuit. So clearly we're going to hear from Las Vegas Aces. We're going to hear from Becky, and we're going to see what their responses are, because some people are calling for Becky to quit, like to be fired, but her team is standing behind her. If you go back to May, when because she was suspended for 2 games for this, and they were disappointed by the suspension. The Las Vegas Aces were. Kelsey Plum, A'ja Wilson, all defended Becky and said, like, we stand with Becky. This is, we think the investigation was wrong and the decision they made was wrong. So there's more to unravel here for sure in this situation. And when they respond, we're going to see, because these text messages apparently are out there and might leak. And then we're going to really understand what happened here.
I hope they do. I hope they do. And the truth comes out. And like I said, if we find out that Hamby was out here just popping off at the mouth, well, you're going to get what's coming to you. But I don't think that that's the case here. I truly believe that this is something that could happen. And not because I look at Becky Hammon and I'm like, oh, she's a terrible person. But people do effed up things to folks. And what does she have to necessarily, like, I guess I get money, like I get that, but what does she really have to gain to make the W have any more of a smear when you have the nonsense of, on the one hand, you're excited that Caitlyn's here, but there's been a lot of drama with that and how that's come. Why would this wouldn't help the case of trying to get like, it just makes it feel like it's more drama. So I gotta believe that there's some truth behind what Dearica's putting out there, man. You wouldn't do this just to do it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, because you're shining a spotlight on yourself and your family right after you've had a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your second child. And Becky, according to Dearica, Becky questioned her if she didn't believe that she wasn't gonna have a third child on the company dime. So it's just like it's gonna get real messy. It's gonna get real messy.
It is, and I guess the only other thing that I'm thinking of as far as any of that goes one way or the other, and smarter people need to talk about this than me. I don't know if there is some sort of thing specifically, oh, well, we need you for X, Y, and Z. Right. I know that for the NFL, for most of the players, it's a game check. That is where a majority of your money is. Right. So if the thing is specifically your money is tied to a game check, so if that does end up happening, you're still getting paid for the other work that you're doing, but you're losing a significant because you're not able to play. I think that would make sense in the same way that any other way that happens, that when things go down, that they'll do that. So if you want to put that into the CBA or something, I don't know. Again, I would much rather have women decide that, smarter people than me decide that, all that. But on the one hand, like I said, I sort of get if that's the frustration, but you can't do that. Even if you're frustrated, you can't do that.
You can't say that. Woman to woman, it doesn't matter. You can't say that. You can't say that. Sean Brennan chiming in. All this suing going on. Rocha better hope Mahomes never finds out the slander he's been throwing.
Ain't nobody worried about that. Ain't nobody worried about that. On top of the fact, you know who did this, right? You know why this year has been so litigious, has been fights on social media. It's all Cat Williams' fault. This is the year, niggas, that you're going to find out that everybody's tired of your shit. And then what happened? Stephen A. Smith went at Jason Whitlock.
Yes.
Had all of a sudden, here comes Monique. She started saying all the stuff that she said, throwing stuff at people. Like left and right, people have just been like, I'm tired of your shit. Here's a lawsuit. Here's a cussing you out. Here's a whatever it is. He literally, all he did is he said, let me open the door, nigga. And then the rest was history.
Yeah.
Like,
and poor P. Diddy got sucked up in all this stuff.
What do you mean poor P. Diddy? What do you mean? Rocha, you know the saddest thing in the world? Quick aside.
Please.
I filmed a sketch. It'll almost be about 2 years ago when we filmed it. And I edited it and I lost all of it. Like I lost the full edit. I still had the raw footage, but it took so long that I have struggled to get back to editing it. So I finally am back on top of doing it. A lot of that last year broken leg, I just didn't have the mental headspace to sit and work on a project that hard. So I'm doing it, and I completely forgot in the joke. There's two jokes specifically where dude thinks he's gonna get signed by Diddy, and now I have to like find a way because we can't do a reshoot. I gotta find a way to make that work. So I'm thinking maybe every time Diddy is said, you just hear all of a sudden instead of a beep, you hear like just I don't know. I gotta figure something out, man, because it's too good of a sketch to just throw out. But
Harloff Twin saying he's praying for Diddy. Praying for Diddy.
Jesus.
He's going to need your prayers very soon. All right. Well, two last things here before we get your Streamlabs Super Chats. We're short on time. Brandon Aiyuk, we got to talk about this as he has yet to suit up for camp because he has requested to be traded from the 49ers. This is going to happen, right? It's done, isn't he? I thought he was going to the Steelers. Is this not happening?
Well, so here's the thing with him.
Oh, no.
So he doesn't want to leave the Niners.
What happened?
However, as you know, Rocha, the average NFL career is about 2.5 to 3 years.
Yes.
If you're fortunate enough to be healthy enough to have a longer career than that, and to be good enough to have a longer career than that, to know that he was an all-pro receiver, to know that he was one of the main reasons that they got to the Super Bowl. He was their number one receiving option behind Christian McCaffrey only. Yeah, he is the only one, but he was 1,300 yards, 100 some odd, like throws, all that kind of stuff. The one rule that is above all else for football players, that second contract out of your rookie year, if you're blessed enough to get one, you go for as much money as you possibly can because you don't know if this is it.
Right.
And so I do not blame him when you see all the other receivers that he is in the company of his performance. He's talking that the rumor is he wants at least 28, and the Niners were like, nah, you can have, I think, like either 24, 25 a year.
Right.
And he wants 28. And so the problem is he's like, fine, if you're not going to pay me, then send me somewhere else.
Yeah.
But at the same time, obviously, he likes the Bay Area. He likes his teammates. He likes the prospect of shooting for a ring. Steelers ain't going to smell a Super Bowl anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, like, that's part of the problem. Unless the number is astronomical. It's like, dude, we're going to break the bank. 33 mil here. Like, I understand him being hesitant one way or the other. So we'll see, man.
Yeah.
We'll really see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation because, like, the Steelers were like, I mean, the 49ers were like, all right, we'll send you to Russell. Enjoy that. Enjoy having the ball thrown at you at your feet.
By Justin Fields, because Russell Wilson is hurt right now.
Oh, no, by Justin Fields, even worse. Oh, my God. And what about the Haason Reddick situation? This is a lot of fun to tell because I love anything that involves Aaron Rodgers getting absolutely smoked. New York Jets' contract standoff Haason Reddick took an ugly turn Monday as the Pro Bowl edge rusher officially requested a trade. He hasn't even shown up for practice or played one down for the Jets. They traded for him from the Eagles because the Eagles couldn't afford him anymore. He's been a great player on the edge. And now he says he wants to go because the Jets don't want to pay him. The Jets are saying they won't trade him. And Aaron Rodgers came out and was like, I'm sad. Haason should stay. Oh, my God. Talk to me about this, Winston.
Dude. Yeah. I occasionally, like, I don't watch the talking head shows, like sit down on ESPN or Fox Sports 1 anymore, but I'll occasionally watch a video of a topic I'm interested in. And so I saw this one with Shady, James Jones, Joy Taylor, and Acho breaking this down and being like, are you dumb? Like, what in what world? He was traded away from the Eagles because the Eagles did not want to pay him.
Yes.
And he was very clear about what the number is. So in most cases, why, like, because the Niners were ready to ship off Aiyuk, for example, to the Browns.
Yep.
They're going to ship him off to there was another the Patriots. They both put very interesting trade, but the reason they didn't pull the trigger is because if Aiyuk's like, I'm not gonna play for you, then like all of a sudden you've wasted those picks and shit for nothing.
Yep.
So in the same breath, in what world do you see Haason Reddick is like, I can't play here. You need to trade me because you're not gonna pay me. So then you trade for him and you won't pay the man? It's not like he sprung this on you. He was clear about what he wanted. The bag. That's what he wanted. He said, give me my stacks and let's go win. But you don't want to pay him. On top of the fact that didn't Aaron Rodgers apparently take a pay cut so you could go and get some stars?
Yes.
You got the motherfucking money.
Yeah. That's why Aaron is out here saying, I want him to stay because I lost money to keep this motherfucker and now he's going to go? So, he's upset about the situation for sure. But you got to get that bag, man. Jets going to have to pay.
Bag.
Woody, take the fucking gold grill out of your mouth and pay this man, for God's sake.
Look, man, all I got to say is, and Shady said it best. He was like, he was joking. He's like, well, I never had a bad year because, Shady McCoy. But he was like, I got my bag in Philly. I got my bag in Buffalo when I got shipped off because of Chip Kelly. But then after that, I'm rich now. I've made more than enough money that I could ever be. So I'm okay taking a significantly smaller amount to go play with Tom Brady and win a ring, to go play with Patrick Mahomes and win another ring. I will take less because now I've got them. But when you don't have the money, nobody is just going to the NFL so they can be a Super Bowl champion. Because if 5 years from now you're broke and you have to go have a regular job, you failed. You will become a professional athlete partially for the glory and the fame, but so that you can literally take care of yourself and your family going forward, especially if you're one of these majors. If you're in one of the smaller sports, go figure. Then you're doing it for the love of the game. That doesn't mean you don't love football, right? But you're not putting your body on the line and risking CTE late in life and all that so you can be broke. You're here to get your bag. Get your motherfucking bag.
Get paid, bitch. Get paid. Always.
Paid, bitch.
All right. On that, let's jump in. We gotta get on out of here. Tim says, so did Raygun killing breaking's Olympic chances to return to the LA 2028 games where LA is a breakdancing hotbed or bad assumption? Hope everyone is doing well today. Now, Tim, as we covered earlier, they had already made the decision before 2024 to cancel breakdancing in 2028. That's why the Australian Federation put this team together quickly to try to take advantage of the situation and failed miserably, at least on the Raygun side of things. And Tim also says, and you'd think we would have more films dealing with domestic violence directly, especially since we already know how bad the NFL handled plenty of their notable domestic abuse cases.
Well, I'll tell you this, the NFL will never, they barely let Concussion come out. They'll never let a domestic violence movie in the NFL come out ever. Yeah. You're going to have to make sure if you ever write something like that, any writer that's thinking about that, you better make sure, yeah, we're talking about football, but you ain't got nothing to do with NFL. Not a name, not a city. Yeah. It can't be Dallas. It would have to be like the Austin Wranglers would have to be the name of the team. Like you what?
Fort Worth. Something.
Oh, don't do that. It's too close. Fort Worth hugs Dallas too much. Just it's the DFW Metroplex, bro. Don't run that risk. You don't want the smoke. I'm just saying, like, but I agree. Like, look, that is why any of the movies that address any of that particular element and that are done well are so lauded, man, because it is a very serious topic, and art is supposed to be holding up a mirror to society so that you can really look at, investigate, make changes. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you want it to be done well.
Yep, exactly. But also, Tim, there are so many studios that will not do films about domestic violence. And look, this is a big film production. This is not a small production. They'll do films for $10 million about domestic violence. They're not going to do massive theatrical releases from big studios on domestic violence. That's a rarity. That subject is just very difficult. And to be fair, some people in those studios who are males have probably committed it and may not want to greenlight a film about that. I am too like Amazon. So Disney can murder you and dismiss your case.
You heard about this,
Disney
right?
Plus. Never buying Plus again. I hope that family finds peace. Shame on Disney.
You heard about this, right?
Yeah, it's a legal tactic, but if you want to fill in the people.
So specifically what happened was there was a family that went to Disneyland. They ordered something. The wife, I believe the wife was allergic to nuts. They asked multiple times, doesn't have any nuts, wasn't prepared. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. They feed her. She dies.
Yeah.
They go to try and sue Disney and pursue criminal charges and all that. And Disney has presented as their counter that actually they, and then it shows up twice, once in the Disney Plus contract when you sign up for the service, and once actually when you buy the tickets online as far as their terms of service, that you agree to a third-party arbitration and to not take it to criminal court or to civil court by signing up for the service. And a lot of people don't know that, obviously, because most people are not reading terms of service, but it's that whole South Park episode where Kyle ends up in the Sentai pad where he signed the iTunes terms of service, and all of a sudden now he's being experimented on. Disney has that built in to both online ticket sales and to Disney Plus, that if something happens where you would be able to hold them liable, you automatically agree to arbitration.
Yep.
That is insane.
Yeah. That's either the mouse. You don't fuck with the mouse. Cowboys fan 92 says, hi, I just want to interject here as one of the two siblings who are children of divorce due to domestic violence itself. This is a close topic to me. We need to take this shit seriously. We were lucky that my mom left. And lastly, Raygun was not the worst one there. Okay, Cowboys fan. And yes, you are lucky that your mom left. That's a difficult situation. That's actually what happens in the movie. She ends up being strong enough to leave after having had the child, because it's based on the author's life story. It's loosely based on the author's life story. And it is a serious issue, which is why a lot of people, including me, were frustrated that Blake was trying to turn this into some kind of girl power shit, which is it absolutely isn't, and so I hear you. But yeah, Raygun was not the worst one there. You're right. Even though she didn't win and got zeros across the board, she was closer to the competitor she was competing against than people know. So yeah. And Sean Brennan. Hello, my friends. Football is back. Yes, baby. What are you guys most excited to cover this season? Who are you way too early Super Bowl picks? And what team do you think everyone is underestimating all love? Just to fuck with Sean, I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I picked Mahomes to not get injured at all the whole season.
Stop. You putting a lot of juju in the world that you don't. I'm actually at this point, because I'm so mad at Jerry Jones. The fact that we haven't paid nobody, and to be honest with you, all you needed was to see, like, look, I like Cooper Rush, but let's be real, Dak is better than him. I understand people like, well, you've seen this is when Dak's gonna get you. Mike McCarthy, in a lot of these cases, are like, he is the coach, doesn't need to be there. You're gonna give up an all-pro, second in MVP voting quarterback to just say, fuck it, we'll try it with Trey Lance. Kiss my ass. Pay Dak, pay Micah, pay fucking CeeDee Lamb. I'm so mad, bro. So I do hope the Chiefs three-peat, and it's the first time it ever happens. That would be awesome.
Wow. Yeah. That was hilarious. Jerry Jones, and then CeeDee responded with an LOL, and then Jerry was like, well, no, what I meant was, yeah, well, we know what you meant, old man. All right, Fantastic says, hey, Tequila, hearing the Outlaw and Winston talk issues is awesome because of the depth of the conversation they get into. Reminds me of Game Time when Taylor Swift became part of the NFL dialogue. That's for sure. Well, she's not done. They're still together, Winston. We're going to see her again.
Rumor is that the engagement's coming soon, but it might be put on hold because of obviously all of the it might be put on hold because of all of the death threats and like the terrorists that were arrested around her concert and whatnot.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was you can say what you want about Taylor. That's a terrible situation. She does care about her fans. The fact that she's gotten so popular that people would do that, especially teenagers. It was teenagers. That is truly scary. Puerto Rican says, FYI, hechicero is the male form of sorcerer in Spanish. That's what I said. It derives from the word hechizo, Spanish for spell or incantation. Right. But the shorter hecho is to do stuff. So yo lo hecho, I did it. I've done it. You know what I'm saying? Hechizo is a spell because you're doing an action. So that makes sense. But yeah, there you go. Giving us little
only other thing I was going to throw in real quick about the football question. I actually think the Bills are about to take a massive step backwards. I think losing Stephon Diggs is a bigger blow than they realize. I think that you now don't really have a good number one. I know Gabe Davis is good, but he ain't Stephon. I think that you're able to pull that off with other people in the core because you always have to make sure that Stephon Diggs doesn't just get free reign to do what he wants.
Yeah.
So even if he's not catching balls, he is taking the defense's attention.
Yeah.
So I genuinely think that the Bills are going to take a step backwards, man, and they'll make the playoffs, but they ain't going to be the Bills there because this is their year, fam. I think that they are going to look like what the Cowboys normally look like, where they'll be a decent team in the regular season and get bounced in the first round.
Yeah. I think Justin Fields and the Washington football team will win the NFC East, and we'll get to
how does Justin Fields and the Washington football team win the NFC East? You don't even know your quarterback. You were pathetic. You are terrible.
I haven't been talking football for months. I'm rusty. Damn it.
And I still know who my quarterback is, bitch.
Jaden Daniels. He's going to lead us to the NFC East title and the NFC Championship. We're not going to win, but we're going to get there. That's No, I'm thinking Justin Fields because I'm about to watch the first episode of the Chicago Bears one when we finish up here tonight because I want to catch up on all the Hard Knocks, which are supposedly. I heard the Giants one is really good, so I'm excited.
I need to finish that one. I need to watch the new episode of the. Who's it following? No, not Justin Fields. You did it again. Jesus, Caleb Williams.
He's not our quarterback.
No. But you said I need to go watch the Bears. So I need to go watch the Justin Fields. You mean Caleb Williams because Justin Fields now plays for the damn Steelers.
Yeah. Oh, poor Justin. Karen Vander Maiden. I always love when Karen's in here. She said, "This is for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Respect.
Love it.
Debates are on the schedule. Winston.
Mama Lung, Coach Tim."
They are getting a healthy obsession with Mamala. Like they, she's fucking with her big time. White people don't like it. This is black, attractive, accomplished woman. They all fucked up right now. They all fucked up. All right. Well, there you go. That's our episode of Spill the Tequila. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it madly. Winston, where can they find you and where can they subscribe to your YouTube channel?
You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred here on YouTube. I've got my Craven the Hunter trailer reaction. But I will, like I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm really excited about the project I'm going to be working on next week. I'll let y'all know more about it when the commercial comes out. I think it drops in November is what it said. Nice. But I'll be busy all of next week and the following week. So I'm still going to put content out. It's just not going to come as fast as Furiously. I already got a text that the homies are like, F your YouTube channel, we're going to celebrate tonight. So you're probably getting Blurred Breakdown tomorrow and a little I'm probably gonna be hungover in the video, so bear with me, but you will get that. And then I will put out as much as I possibly can. I will also be on Capes and Cows, so you can check that out too.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. As for me, we just put up our interview with Kayla Baxter from the WWE. She's now Kayla Becker. She's left the WWE. Fun 40-minute conversation with her. If you guys want to listen to a great interview, go and listen to that. But we've got Geek Buddies coming up real soon. Hot Mic tomorrow night. Don't forget, 4 p.m. PT. So a lot of stuff happening. And I already dropped my Craven reaction earlier today. If you want to take a look at me grousing through an entire trailer, because that did not look good, you can do that for sure. All right.
Very violent.
Guys. What's that?
Very violent.
Yeah, it was quite violent. A lot of tooth in the neck action. Can we go? Can we go? World be free? Okay, we can go. All right, let's get on out of here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Spill the Tequila. Take care.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get a dog right now. Everybody worried about the crown. Bitch, look, homie, I'm the man right